There's something quietly powerful about people who move through life with a deeper knowing, who feel, see, and hear the world in ways most cannot explain. These individuals don't need to boast about their intuition or understanding. You'll simply sense it in their presence, their calmness, their insight, their ability to know things before they happen, isn't by chance, it's a gift, a spiritual gift. Today, I want to take you on a journey, not to define what makes someone better than others, but to shine a light on the quiet warriors, the silent observers, and the emotional empaths of this world. Spiritually gifted people experience the world on a level that's difficult to explain yet impossible to ignore. One of the earliest and most persistent things they encounter throughout their lives is a profound emotional sensitivity that goes beyond moodiness or ordinary empathy. This sensitivity is not something they can turn off or ignore. It becomes part of their identity, woven into their thoughts, reactions, and decisions. When they enter a space, they can almost immediately feel the invisible emotional residue left behind by others. If there was an argument in a room before they entered, they may feel uneasy or anxious without even knowing why. If someone is silently grieving or hiding their pain, they can sense it, and it lingers in their chest like their own sorrow. They aren't just aware of emotions, they become vessels for them, soaking in joy, sadness, fear, or tension from people they've never even met. This experience isn't always voluntary, nor is it glamorous. It often means they're overwhelmed in crowded places, not because of the noise or the lights, but because of the emotional chaos that swirls around them, unspoken yet intensely real. This deep emotional sensitivity makes them incredibly compassionate, but it also means they often carry burdens that don't belong to them. It's a heavy kind of knowing, a weight they feel in their spirit, even when there's no clear source. Because of this, spiritually gifted people tend to seek out solitude. It's not because they don't like people, but because solitude is one of the few places where they can distinguish their own feelings from the feelings of others. It's in these quiet moments that they recalibrate, recharge, and reclaim their energy. They reflect not out of habit, but out of necessity, because their internal world is rich, layered, and constantly responding to stimuli that others don't even notice. This kind of sensitivity also makes them extraordinarily good listeners, not just to words, but to tone, silence, and subtext. They notice the tension in a person's shoulders, the slight quiver in their voice, the shift in their eyes when something touches a nerve. They can hear what's not being said and feel what someone is trying to hide. As a result, people naturally open up to them. Strangers feel comfortable confessing their struggles. Friends seek them out for comfort. Their presence is healing, not because they say all the right things, but because they understand without needing many words. However, this gift can also feel isolating. They may wonder why they're so affected by things that others shrug off. They might carry emotional wounds that aren't theirs, simply because they were too open, too available, too willing to feel. Yet over time, they learn to set boundaries, not to disconnect, but to protect the sacredness of their energy. They begin to understand that being deeply sensitive isn't a weakness to overcome, but a strength to honor. And in learning how to care for themselves, they unlock the ability to be fully present for others, not as martyrs, but as mirrors reflecting the emotional truths most people are too afraid to acknowledge. For spiritually gifted people, dreams are never just dreams. They are experiences that often feel more vivid, meaningful, and emotionally charged than reality itself. While others may forget their dreams moments after waking, these individuals hold onto the details with clarity, almost as if they lived an alternate life during the night. Their dreams are filled with symbols, metaphors, people they've never met but instantly recognize, and places that seem familiar though they've never been there before. Sometimes they wake up feeling emotionally moved, joyful, shaken, relieved, or even tearful, because what happened in the dream world touched their soul in ways the physical world rarely can. These dreams can carry messages, offering guidance or warnings about events that haven't yet occurred. It's not uncommon for spiritually gifted individuals to dream of someone they haven't seen in years and then hear from them the next day, or to dream of accidents, situations, or emotional experiences that soon manifest in waking life. These aren't coincidences. They are whispers from the spiritual realm, delivered in the language of dreams because that's where the conscious mind is most quiet and receptive. For some, these dreams are visits from ancestors or loved ones who have passed on. The connection is so strong that the person wakes up feeling as though they've truly spent time with that soul, exchanging thoughts, emotions, and sometimes even words that carry significance long after the dream ends. They often know the difference between an ordinary dream and a spiritual one. It's in the energy, the colors, the way they feel upon waking, the way the memory stays with them for days, weeks, or even years. Spiritually gifted individuals may also have recurring dreams or symbols that seem to follow them throughout life. Doors that never open, staircases that lead nowhere, animals that keep reappearing. These images are not random. They are codes from the subconscious and the universe, asking to be decoded, understood, embraced. And often, they become guides for personal evolution and spiritual growth. Nightmares, too, carry deeper meaning. For these individuals, even the frightening dreams have purpose. They are not just the mind reacting to stress. They can be unresolved energy, karmic lessons, or messages delivered in the only form the subconscious could handle at that time. Spiritually gifted people may even experience lucid dreams, where they become aware they're dreaming and can begin to interact with the dream world with intention. In these moments, they understand that the veil between the physical and spiritual is thin, that their spirit is not confined to the limitations of the body. These dream experiences are often life-changing, shifting their awareness of who they are and why they are here. They may wake up with a sudden insight about a decision, a creative idea they've never considered, or a deep emotional release that heals something they didn't realize needed healing. Over time, they begin to trust this dream space as not only a place of rest, but a sacred realm of spiritual communication. A realm where truth is whispered, where the soul speaks its native tongue, and where divine encounters are not only possible, but beautifully normal. There's a quiet certainty that spiritually gifted people carry within them, a kind of intuitive knowing that doesn't rely on logic, facts, or external validation. It's not something they were taught. It's something that's always been with them, as natural as breathing. They often find themselves saying things like, "I don't know how I know, I just know." And while that may sound vague or unprovable to others, for them, it is as real and trustworthy as anything visible. This internal compass helps them navigate life in ways that often seem guided by something higher. They can sense danger before it arrives, feel when someone is not being genuine even behind a smile, or know that a decision is right or wrong without needing to weigh the pros and cons. They may walk away from a situation others deem perfect simply because their gut told them it wasn't for them. This instinctive insight is not born from fear or paranoia, but from a heightened connection to the unseen patterns that shape the world. It's like they are plugged into a frequency most people can't hear, and when something doesn't resonate, they don't need evidence to know it's out of alignment. These moments of intuitive knowing often appear in relationships, career moves, and moments of crisis. They might instantly trust a stranger or feel repelled by someone everyone else adores, and more often than not, time proves their intuition was correct. Over the years, they learn to trust this inner voice more than anything outside of them, even when it contradicts what's considered rational. It isn't always easy. This kind of sensitivity can make them feel like outsiders or cause others to dismiss their perceptions as overreactions. But the spiritually gifted soon realize that ignoring their inner guidance always comes with a cost. Their intuition is a spiritual tool, a form of communication from their higher self or divine guidance, and the more they honor it, the stronger it becomes. This intuitive gift also shows up in their ability to read people and situations with stunning clarity. They can often tell when someone is hiding pain, pretending to be someone they're not, or harboring intentions that haven't been spoken. They might not confront it directly, but they will quietly adjust their energy, their involvement, their boundaries. Their presence often makes others feel seen in ways they're not used to, not because of what is said, but because of what is sensed. They don't need long explanations, they just understand. They might meet someone for the first time and feel an instant soul recognition, as though they've met before in another lifetime or another dimension. This is because their spirit remembers what the mind cannot explain, and their knowing often reaches beyond time, logic, and surface appearances. Living with this gift requires courage, because it means trusting something you can't prove, walking paths others don't understand, and honoring a truth that sometimes no one else can see or feel, but you do, because you always have one of the most common yet least understood experiences of. Spiritually gifted people is the sudden and often inexplicable drain of energy they feel around certain people, places, or environments. It's not about being introverted or shy. It's an energetic reaction that happens when their inner system becomes overloaded by external vibrations. They can walk into a room and feel the shift in energy like a wave crashing through them. If the environment is chaotic, tense, or filled with unspoken negativity, their body and spirit begin to respond in subtle but undeniable ways. Their head might start to feel heavy, their mood may change without warning, or they may feel the sudden urge to leave without knowing exactly why. This isn't anxiety, it's an energetic absorption. Spiritually gifted individuals are often highly empathic, and their openness to unseen realms means that they are like energetic sponges, picking up on what others unconsciously emit. It can be especially exhausting when they are surrounded by people who are emotionally needy, manipulative, or dishonest. Even if the words being spoken are polite or positive, they can sense the underlying intent, and that dissonance creates friction within them. Over time, they begin to recognize patterns. Certain people consistently leave them feeling depleted. Certain conversations leave them feeling scattered or disconnected from themselves. And certain environments like malls, hospitals, or crowded events become nearly unbearable. What seems like an ordinary day for someone else becomes a spiritual battlefield for them, as they unconsciously begin to process, absorb, and attempt to harmonize the emotional frequencies around them. This is why spiritually gifted people often crave solitude not as an escape, but as a necessity. It's in solitude where they are finally able to hear their own thoughts again, feel their own energy again, and release what doesn't belong to them. Many of them develop spiritual hygiene practices, meditation, grounding, salt baths, journaling, or nature walks, not as trends, but as survival tools that help them return to themselves after being energetically bombarded. They may find themselves instinctively pulling away from relationships that once felt fine on the surface but now feel draining, because they've learned to listen to the signals their spirit gives them. This self-awareness doesn't come overnight, and many spiritually gifted people spend years wondering why they feel so tired, why they feel overwhelmed after seemingly simple social interactions, or why they need more rest than others. But eventually, they understand that their energy is a sacred resource, and not everyone is entitled to it. They begin to honor that gift by setting boundaries that protect their well-being, even if it means disappointing others. And in doing so, they become more aligned, more clear, and more able to use their gift in the ways it was meant to be used, not to carry everyone's pain, but to reflect light where it's needed most, while still preserving their own inner fire that burns quietly and powerfully from within. Spiritually gifted people often feel an unexplainable yet deeply grounding connection to nature and the universe, a sense that there is a silent, intelligent rhythm guiding all things and that they are somehow a part of it. This connection isn't something they had to study or be taught. It's an innate bond that has existed within them since childhood. When they step into a forest, walk barefoot on the earth, or gaze at the sky, it doesn't just feel peaceful, it feels like coming home. They can sit for hours beneath a tree and feel it breathing with them, feel it communicating in a language beyond words. The rustle of leaves, the movement of water, the whisper of the wind, it all carries messages for them. These moments in nature are more than just a break from the noise of the world. They are sacred exchanges where their energy aligns with something infinitely wiser and more ancient than themselves. The stars are not just distant lights to them. They are guides, storytellers, portals to the vastness of the cosmos and their own soul. Looking at the night sky, they often feel a yearning they can't explain, a tugging in the heart that tells them they come from something larger than this lifetime. The moon affects their moods, their sleep, their creativity, as if its phases are connected to their own internal tides. They often find themselves guided by the natural cycles, new moons for setting intentions, full moons for releasing, seasonal changes for transformation. And these aren't rituals for show, but deeply personal alignments that reflect their own growth and transitions. Even animals become more than just creatures to observe. They become messengers, companions, and reflections of energies that surround or inhabit them. A bird landing nearby or a stray cat appearing at a significant moment is never random. It's received as a sign, and they instinctively know when to pay attention. This spiritual sensitivity to nature also brings with it a reverence for all life. They often feel a moral responsibility to protect and respect the planet, to live in harmony with it rather than dominate it. They might be drawn to plant medicine, herbal healing, or gardening not as hobbies, but as sacred exchanges with the earth. This connection also serves as a powerful form of healing. When emotionally overwhelmed, lost, or drained, nature becomes their therapist, their sanctuary, their temple. Sitting near a body of water or lying under the sun often brings them clarity that no conversation or book could provide. And in moments of despair or confusion, the natural world reminds them of the bigger picture, that everything has a season, that life unfolds in cycles, and that there is wisdom in stillness, growth in silence, and strength in simply being present. This intimate relationship with nature and the cosmos isn't something they try to prove or preach. It's something they live and feel in the quietest moments, where the only sound is the heartbeat of the universe echoing softly inside them. For spiritually gifted people, life is filled with patterns, signs, and synchronicities that seem to align too perfectly to be random. These aren't just moments of coincidence. They are meaningful nudges from the universe, whispers of guidance woven through the fabric of everyday life. They may glance at a clock and see repeating numbers like 11, 3, 33, or 5, 55 so frequently that it becomes impossible to ignore. These numbers aren't just time markers to them. They become symbols, messages that feel personalized and timely. Seeing the same sequence at the exact moment, they're thinking of a decision, a person, or a question feels like the universe is answering them back without using words. They might notice that certain symbols show up again and again, white feathers on the ground when they're going through a spiritual transition, butterflies when they're healing, or specific animals that appear at pivotal moments. Even overhearing conversations that speak directly to something they've been contemplating can feel like divine orchestration. These synchronicities are so precise, so intimate, and so charged with meaning that they can feel emotional, even sacred. Music can also become a messenger. A song comes on the radio that mirrors their inner state or delivers lyrics that feel like a message written just for them. They can't explain how the right words arrive at the perfect moment, but they trust it, and that trust deepens their relationship with the invisible forces guiding them. Spiritually gifted people understand that the universe is always communicating. It's just that most people aren't listening. But they are. They watch for patterns, they notice the flow, and they listen with their entire being. What others might write off as chance, they recognize as confirmation. These signs often appear more frequently when they are on the right path or about to make an important shift. They act like spiritual breadcrumbs, leading them gently forward, reassuring them that they are not alone, not lost, not making it up. It gives them the courage to move even when the outcome is unclear, to trust when the path is uncertain, because they've been shown time and again that something greater is orchestrating it all. These synchronicities can also bring clarity in relationships. Meeting someone who shares a birthday with a loved one, hearing a name repeatedly before meeting someone important, or stumbling upon a book or message that answers something they've been struggling with for weeks. All of this creates a kind of sacred rhythm in their lives. They begin to expect the unexpected, to embrace the unknown, because they understand that the universe is not chaotic, but intelligently designed to speak in symbols, numbers, timing, and alignment. This awareness creates a constant dialogue between them and the divine. It's subtle, quiet, often unnoticed by others, but to the spiritually gifted, it's a language of love, direction, and connection that reassures them they are seen, heard, and divinely supported on their journey.